Welcome to Spark Infinity Office Hours and our next stage of evolution, taking it live to multiple streaming platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Wherever you happen to be, feel free to drop a comment. We look forward to interacting with you. We'll probably answer most of the questions at the end, but why don't we check in with our leaders? How you doing, Jody?
Good. Thanks so much, David.
Yeah, thanks for joining me again today. And Suzanna's also here. How you doing, Suzanna?
I'm great. And yourself, Dave?
I'm always good. Carlo was not able to join us, but hopefully on a future stream. So why don't we dive into today's topic? Honestly, it's something we've discussed quite a bit already. So I think our discussion, I have a feeling it's going to go in a bit of a different direction. It may not actually be related to the presentation in any way. But in case you're wondering, it is November 7th, 2024. And today's topic is creating a personal development plan. I would say anybody in this room joining me today is already highly developed people. They've been through programs taking a year or 2 years, very intensive programs involving a lot of personal growth. However, there are people that are just starting on this path, and those people will probably be glad to have a resource like this to turn to. Do you need a personal development plan? My feeling, entrepreneurs, artists, creators, and independents of all kinds need one. But the plan should be fluid, adapting to your needs as circumstances change. You may even go through periods of inactivity with personal development. I've been there. It's totally fine. It's okay, because it's not what you need in the moment. If you're happy about every area of your life, we talked about that before, and wouldn't change anything about it, you don't need personal development. If you're in action to create desired results, you may not need personal development right now. My feeling, at some point, you will still need it. Also, remember what was said in an earlier presentation on parallel universes of an artistpreneur. An identity shift begins the moment you start imagining it. And assuming you don't doubt your imagination, it has to come to fruition. That's how that works. So it can be counterproductive to solve problems you don't even have. If you've imagined a scenario where your present challenges are gone, you should only take inspired actions in the present. Otherwise, you should make no attempts to fix the problem because it's already gone. You've imagined it not in existence. There can also be a toxic aspect of personal development because it works like a mirror, and it will show you all your flaws and all your pimples and everything else in daylight clarity. If you don't face this from time to time, though, you probably aren't growing. With that, let's get into the habits. Honestly, not much has changed since I published my first book, The New Music Industry. There might be some slight differences here, some slight tweaks, but it is basically the same plan I laid out in that book. Number one is reading for 15 minutes per day. Reading has been shown to reduce stress, promote relaxation, improve your sleep, and potentially decrease the likelihood of Alzheimer's. Here's my disclaimer. I am not a healthcare practitioner. I am not a physician. I am not a doctor. So check with them. I don't know one way or another, but that's what the studies are showing. And reading can improve your memory. My hot take on all this is that reading engages your brain in a way that few other things can. In fact, I don't know anything that can. It stimulates your imagination, puts you into flow state, and encourages new connections to form in your brain. What should you read? This is an important factor. Fiction is totally okay. Books about personal development, success, leadership, and entrepreneurship are ideal. Books like Think and Grow Rich, The Magic of Thinking Big, The Magic of Believing. Some books in this category contain made-up information, though, so you should exercise your discernment as you're reading, always. Biographies of successful people are also good. You could read about characters like Steve Jobs, John F. Kennedy, Andrew Carnegie. Although, again, sometimes ghostwriters have written these works without really knowing what they're talking about, and there's made up information in them. Again, using some discernment is par for the course. The goal is to read a minimum of 15 minutes or 10 pages per day. If you want to challenge yourself, read a book per week. That's what every CEO does on average, and I did this in 2015 and 2016. Here's a little quote to inspire everyone by John Waters. It wasn't until I started reading and found books that wouldn't let us read in school, or found books they wouldn't let us read in school, that I discovered you could be insane and happy and have a good life without being like everyone else. Second habit, listen for 30 minutes per day. Listening to motivational speakers has been shown to help you cultivate a positive outlook on life, increase self-confidence, improve your mental health, learn from those who've overcome the challenges you're currently facing, uncover new perspectives, and many, many more. What should you listen to? Again, fiction's okay. Podcasts are good. Audios of the classics like Psycho-Cybernetics, The Secret, See You at the Top are recommended and ideal. Success story biographies are also great. Also, you should know that motivational speakers are easy to find on YouTube nowadays entirely for free. The goal is to listen for a minimum of 30 minutes per day. Remember, you can listen on your commute while driving to the grocery store, going for a walk, working out, etc. Brian Tracy calls that a certain mobile university, which I always liked. And if you want to challenge yourself, listen to 1 hour of audio per day. Here's a little quote from Oprah Winfrey. We can't become what we need to be by remaining what we are. Third habit, get coaching once per week. Benefits of coaching may include setting and achieving goals, increased self-reliance, increased satisfaction in your career and life, increased productivity, improved working relationships, and improved communication. To ensure you're on the right track and you're actually improving, you must get a qualified outside perspective. It's hard to tell sometimes as you're on this personal growth path. You're reading, you're listening, and hopefully you're applying and actually doing things, because if you don't take it out into the world, you're not learning as much as you could be. You need a coach to help you to see things that you can't see to make sure that you're on track. Finding the right fit is absolutely key. The main thing to look for isn't so much fruit on the tree as much as it's fruit on their students' trees. In other words, can they refer you to at least 3 happy clients? A lot of people make this mistake when searching for coaches. They evaluate them based on what they've accomplished. And the reality is, there are a few cliches as common as coaches who don't have enough time to implement their own frameworks, formulas, and methodologies. A busy coach is going to be working with others. The goal is to connect with your coach once per week. If you want to take it a step further, send daily updates to your coach. Of course, you should get permission from your coach to do that. I can tell you from my experience of being a coach that we appreciate those daily updates. It's nice to know that you're on track, that you're doing things. You may not be able to read them all, but coaches do appreciate when you work out an arrangement like that. He who shall not be named, Bill Gates said, everyone needs a coach. It doesn't matter whether you're a basketball player, a tennis player, a gymnast, or a bridge player. Fourth habit, take 1 course per month. Benefits of learning new skills may include increased motivation, reduced boredom, increased confidence, improved brain health, increased flexibility, benefiting others, and increased happiness. My suggestion is to get a Udemy subscription, and you may also want to reference an earlier presentation on fine-tuning and micro adjustments. Learn about aspects of digital marketing, social media, AI, anything you're interested in, or in any area where you don't feel you have the right knowledge or skills to proceed. The goal is to take 1 course per month. Realistically, depending on the length of the course, you may be able to take more than 1 course per month, up to 1 course per week. Remember, technology is changing fast and it's having an impact on the way we do our work. Learning new skills will continue to increase your personal value and make you more adaptive to life and any challenges you may face. And hot take, you don't need school. A lot of people, I think it's one of those cost to benefit ratios that is worth evaluating. When you can learn a lot of things very quickly online for far less, is it worth going to school to pay $30K a year to learn the same skills at a much slower rate? I'm not here to say one way or another. Sometimes school is the right thing. Sometimes courses are the right thing. But do you need school to gain new skills? Absolutely not. Jim Rohn says, learning is the beginning of wealth. Learning is the beginning of health. Learning is the beginning of spirituality. Searching and learning is where the miracle process all begins. Habit 5, attend a conference every 3 months. Attending conferences can help you grow your network, improve your skills, learn about your industry or niche or trends, help you advance your career, give you opportunities to obtain certifications and credentials, help you land leadership positions, and give you visibility in your industry or niche. Now, we could sit here and talk about visibility in your niche all day, but it's not about that. I went down to DIY Musician Conference in 2019. This year I went down to Bow, Washington to see Disciple. I think in 2020, maybe it was 2019, I went to meet Dave Check in Vancouver. These are lasting memories. It's not just visibility in an industry. It was fantastic and it was a lot of fun. Meeting everyone from Kevin Bruner and Rick Barker to Tyler Volkmar, Dave Kuhl, Matt Ramsey, Brent Vartstra, and many other faces people in the music business are likely to recognize. So where should you go? Find relevant industry conferences. It doesn't matter what niche or business or industry that you are in, you should be able to find something happening just about every single month. For musicians, you might consider conferences like South by Southwest, Winter Music Conference, Launch Music Conference, Music Biz Conference, Music Tectonics, Jump Global Annual Summit, and many, many others. Don't worry too much about the quality of the conference. Identify conferences where you have the chance to meet vendors, partners, collaborators, affiliates, experts, heroes, and the like. Make the most of the opportunity. Something people don't often do when they're at conferences for some reason. It always surprised me that people weren't doing any of these things. Post to social media. You can gain great visibility by becoming a journalist and covering the event. Connect with new people. That could be part of the whole journalistic approach. If you're going all the way over from Vancouver to New York, as an example, and you're not meeting anyone new, why did you go to New York? Also, take inspiration from the event. Knowledge is not necessarily going to last. So take something with you tangible that you can then apply to your work. James Cash Penny says, growth is never by mere chance. It is the result of forces working together. What else can we do? And I'm not saying that you have to do these things. I'm not saying in addition to what I've already talked about, add these things in, but you can journal. I love journaling. I love scripting what my life is going to look like. I recently heard Frederick Dodson talk about how writers tend to manifest what they write about. And then I thought, wow, I've written a lot of songs about heartbreak. Maybe I should write some positive songs. Maybe I should begin scripting the future that I actually want to live in rather than talking about heartbreak all the time. Meditation. I love meditation. I generally meditate 5 to 6 times per week for 20 minutes. Exercise. That's something I also do 4 to 5 times per week. Practice your instrument. Ultimately, 3 to 5 habits are enough, and that takes something to keep those anyway. And any more than that can feel overwhelming and can be harder to keep. It's worth focusing on habits that improve your life in multiple ways. For instance, reading books about making money could help you increase your income, which allow you to purchase nutritional supplements, etc. Getting those dominoes to fall down, those are the best habits. Remember, do what you can. Initially, you may not have the funds available to do everything all at once that we've talked about. Don't focus on that. Focus on what you can do right now. Many older books are in public domain and are available for free. And don't forget, you got your local libraries too, although libraries are kind of a weird, their current modern construction is a little weird, many of them. Most podcasts are free to subscribe and listen to. Some courses are totally free, even on Udemy. YouTube is free, and free counseling is available. I can't vouch for its effectiveness, but it is available. As always, I invite you to follow me on Instagram, where this journey is unfolding. I am at David Andrew Wiebe. My brand new book is The Renegade Musician. You can get it at the URL you see on screen right now, davidandrewwiebe.com/The Renegade Musician. Yeah, this is my magnum opus. I think people are maybe wondering if I'm going to come out with another book about the music business. I don't plan to. I may revise, I may update, I may consolidate, but I don't plan to come out with another book about the music business. This is it. This is my magnum opus, and I invite you to pick up a copy or at least begin reading it, because I know some people are currently reading it using Kindle Unlimited for free. And that is today's presentation on creating a personal development plan. Let's check in with everyone and see how we're doing. So what do you think, Jody?
I think a lot of this can be implemented over time for sure. And like you're saying, like molding and shifting for where your funds are available and what you can do in the moment. Planning out your year is great so that you can see, starting with your hours in the day, going into your week, and then going into your months and year, kind of to break it all down. It can help you be able to look forward to what you're up to and create that excitement in life too, like you're saying, creating a life that you're looking forward to rather than a life of misery and heartbreak.
It's so true. I mean, I think as musicians, that's something we have to be careful of sometimes, that we have all these songs about difficulty and travail and heartbreak and things we've gone through. And then if you go on tour and repeat these songs night after night, even subconsciously, and that's maybe the worst way, is that your subconscious is beginning to absorb everything you're saying night after night. So your reality that you've painted a picture of in your song becomes a reality, and you repeat it.
Yeah, and I mean, it just depends. I think in that there's just so many perspectives and points of view that can be led from that. A lot of the stuff when I'm writing is of victories coming through that. So reflecting on it can offer other people too a way to look into, it was tough at that time, but at the same time, it can help them grow and shape their futures and present moments. Look at a guy like Ed Sheeran, right?
Yeah. That's the way I'm having to look at it as well. And look, I've gotten great therapy from some of my songwriting efforts. Some of those have led to a lot of healing for me. So even if they aren't exactly positive messages that I want to repeat now, upon closer evaluation, if the song is about overcoming, even if it's talking about things that aren't exactly what I want to attract or create in life, if they're about overcoming, then they're well worth it and shouldn't be neglected.
I mean, even a song about struggle is great. If you look at, there's a new documentary by Bruce Springsteen, I think it's called The Road on Disney Plus, and there he describes like how he maps out his playlists of like what are the songs we're gonna play, so set list, and he's like, what is the story I'm gonna tell on the road this time? Because it's like you said, it's altered. I mean, with all of this stuff going on with the election in the States, as we all know, woo, or no. There's just so many things to focus on in strategizing how to tell your story and what you're up to. Even with old songs, it could mean something completely different to you now than it did when you wrote it.
Absolutely. I mean, the politics is a whole other. I don't think we're going to go down that one today. But I'm here. I'm with you. It's either woohoo or oh my god, what's going on in the world? And I'm not going to reveal which I am, but I don't think people are confused, especially if they've read Renegade Musician. They're not confused about which side I'm on. What are you hearing in all this, Suzanna?
Well, with the habits, I'm actually very surprised you didn't have anything like talk to someone. Converse with a human being. I'm like, one of the things that I like doing is just like, just like getting out of my head and being with someone or being with people and like just being fully self-expressed with someone that you just want to talk about or talk to, right? And the other thing that I saw that was different, like I also like walking in nature or like going by the beach, just watching the waves, just bathing in the forest or listening to music. And then the other thing too for me is just like trying something new every week or explore a place that you've never been before. So those ones are like things that I would take on. Yeah. And then that was just missing for me.
Yeah, good point. So the third habit is getting coaching. That would be the talking to people part. And I agree with you, though, that if you're going to read and listen to audio, you have to apply it or it's not really good for much of anything. And so application will hopefully look like having conversations. As a network marketer, that was totally part of the plan. And that looked like 5 conversations per day. I've heard some people in the music business say they connect with 3 people a week. That's their goal. They make it a habit. They do it every single week without fail. And I agree. I think that's a really good thing to take on. I think the minimum is conversation with a coach, because realistically, if you're a bookworm and that's all you're doing, a coach is going to say to you, so it's all well and good that you're very well studied, and when are you going to go and apply this and have conversations with people? The going for a walk and going into nature was covered under exercise, but I agree with you that I think it's healthy and even good for most people to spend 2 hours per week in nature, and that's like a minimum. Preferably more.
Some people actually do the opposite. They gamify it. They play Pokemon Go, right? And they walk around the city catching Pokemon or something like that, right? And making it like a game, gamifying their life.
Yeah, as long as you're not bumping into cars, I'm all for that. But
or bumping
please,
into pools. I think that's happened too many times to me. I'm like, catch, boom, like, so
yeah.
That type of
Please be mindful of your surroundings. I still see so many people just doing this as they're walking across the street, and I'm like, no, you can't take anything for granted. Not in Surrey.
Yeah, especially then the cars are going at you, right? And they're like, honk, look at me, right? So
yeah, you still look both ways, and while you're crossing the street, maybe just put the cell phone in your pocket or hold it. Don't be staring at it the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. It would be interesting if they actually had something like Pokemon Go, but for music. Imagine so many musicians on their phone and playing with their music, and it's a gamified type of thing. But anyways, that's another thing that could be working. Somebody could take that idea to it.
What would you capture? That would be my question. What would you be going around capturing?
I don't know, different things are in your environment, and then it would be kind of different notes, and then they would put all the notes together and whatever you captured, and then it would create a song for you for for artists that they can, like what Jody was just saying, creating lyrics, or something like that.
Well, I think I have an idea, and people should license it for $1 million from me. But the idea is every landmark that has something to do with music. So in Vancouver, it might be a certain music studio, and it says, Marianas Trench recorded here at this studio. So it gives you a little bit of history. And your mission is to just go around the world collecting different music landmarks. That might be an idea.
That would be great. Yeah, then they could create that, and then it becomes a monster or like a music piece or something like that, right? So
yeah,
I used to do that with skateboarding. I'd go to like all the cities I would go to, and then I'd go to the skate spots that I saw in the videos so that I could like relive that energy. Recently, when I went to Philadelphia, I went to Love Park, but they had torn it all out, so it's totally completely changed. So it's like so different, and I was a little disappointed. But other than that, it was still a place that I was like, I gotta go check it out just to see it for myself, kind of thing. It's not even remotely close to what it used to be.
Yeah, what else was there? Venice, Versailles. What was that one college? There's a bunch of landmarks in California. I know that.
Oh yeah, like San Francisco, like everywhere. There's so many. You can see so many spots, like just walking down the street a lot of the time. It's really cool.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how many skaters you're acquainted with.
Have you ever put that in your music video, Jody? Like all the skater parks, that you put it into your music video?
Oh yes, no. I mean, I did the Colors music video. Is that it's me like giving a showcase of my life and kind of like a love letter to skateboarding and what it was able to create for me.
Yeah, it's a really cool video. Everyone be sure to check it out on YouTube. I don't know where else you got it, if you have it on the website.
YouTube or the website.
Good stuff. I think it might be in my review too, if people can find that.
I think your review's still in there.
Yeah, awesome.
I mean, the other thought that I thought about was like, the coaching. Sometimes I feel like coaching is like, oh, you're bad and wrong. We tell you what to do, sort of thing. So it's kind of like, I don't know, in my mindset, it's like rebel, and kind of like want to do something freeing like that I want to do. Sort of, but like I understand that, like, it's coaching. You go to a coach that you kind of look up to and, do something, right? So, yeah, I guess this depends on the personality type that you have. If they like to do the coaching part or not, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I get that aspect of it. And I think from what I've experienced, it's not just the coaching. Reading books and listening to audios, you can also kind of feel judged or made wrong.
Oh, that's true.
Because personal development is all about putting a mirror in your face and showing you, oh, you got a wrinkle here, you got a pimple there, and look at this, like you haven't even trimmed your hair. What's going on there? Like that's personal development.
Or your teeth are rotting, or like, for example, I heard that with Johnny Depp. I think that the fans were actually noticing his teeth, that they're no longer rotting anymore. So that kind of reminds me of that.
Interesting, yeah. And not to like draw attention to physical appearance necessarily. It's just one of those things about personal development that it takes courage. You have to be brave to step into it and to want to continue to do it. There definitely comes a point if you continue, because I've been doing this since, was it 2009? I think, no, 2007. So I've been engaged in personal development work since 2007. That's over 10 years. And so some of the stuff over time, it gets easier because it's like I've conquered that, or I've mastered that, or I'm getting better at that. You start to recognize that in yourself. But when you're first diving in, it's like, oh man, you feel bad about the potential of what you could be. That's what I've noticed.
Well, who's controlling the ship? Like usually when like you're controlling, like you go into the personal development, like there should be like a drawing phase. What do you want to be? Draw here, draw there, draw here. This is what I want to visualize. And then suddenly like you take into consideration what I want to listen to, what I want to see, what I want to do. And it's like you have this whole vision board of like what is it? Yeah, sort of thing. Yeah, a different mindset.
A personal development roadmap. I honestly would have loved that. I don't think I had anything like that. I don't think most people have anything like that. It's mostly like stumbling through the resources and separating the wheat from the chaff and setting aside the grifters and trying to embrace the stuff that is actually getting you results in life.
It's like a treasure map in a way.
Yeah.
Like, somebody has the treasure at the end. This is the person you want to be, and then kind of go from there in a way.
Because it's so easy to get stuck in, and life will surprise you. Like I currently have someone sending me all kinds of opportunities, and I'm like, I don't know if I trust them enough at this point to like just go and do all those things. And so like the trust just hasn't been built yet, and maybe it can be, and maybe it will. But life does surprise you, and that's kind of what I've been surprised by lately.
Yeah, I think it also depends on the type of person you are too, like with regards to, like, I think we're all creative types, right? So, and people who are watching could be maybe a total opposite or something like that. I wonder what they would actually think. But
Yeah, great question. I suppose we can only speculate. There's no way of knowing for sure how they go about things or how they think about things. What I've noticed, at least, is that people have unique challenges. So something that I struggle with, Jody may not struggle with, and other viewers who are maybe not of a different temperament, we'll say, or different personality type, may not struggle with, I struggle with. So even amongst creatives, it's going to be unique. And amongst people who are not, or are just differently brained, are probably struggling with different things.
but like all in total, like, it's all about how we interact with the world. Like, like I think one of the things is that people getting out of their shell and talking to people, like not being in their head all the time. Like I had gotten to a phase where, like, if I open my mouth, people are gonna say you're wrong, like, or like, you're annoying. You don't deserve to speak up or something like that. Like,
yeah, well, so it's interesting because that's a perspective too, right? In other words, like, some people are going to be so sold on the idea of networking because it's treated them so well, and they met so many fantastic people, and it's helped them build their career or business. So they're going to swear that networking is the answer. And I'm like, at times, networking has yielded benefits, like powerful benefits for me, and so I can't deny that. And yet, would I say that all of it was fun? I would say a good portion of it was not fun or enjoyable. So it's a give and take there, at least for me.
how about Jody? Because Jody actually can relate to, not speaking for a long time and being quiet in the room, and then suddenly, you can talk or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's where to, like, be the interruption as well, like where you need to be. I think sometimes, like, being the observer and being the interrupter, delivering information at times when it's needed and when it's asked for. I think one of the things that was challenging in my past productivity was offering solutions when solutions were needed. If that makes sense. And then it's like, I was just actually looking up what you were talking as well, like, what are the healthy stages of building a new work relationship? Because a lot of this is, like David was saying, like vendors and things like that. I've recently been searching for work, and it's been way more difficult than I've ever had be. And I have the most experience I've ever had in my entire life. So it's extremely humbling to be out there and almost looking at things in simplistic form, even to have a list and then make it fit you. Take the things that really work for you and make it your own. Because, I mean, the thing is, you can get anything from somebody, but like you said, if you're not going to put it into practice and you're not going to make it your own, it's not going to be yours. So you're going to rebel against it. So, I mean, I'm huge about that. I mean, I come up as a skateboarder, a graffiti artist. It's those are two things that don't really thrive with authority. So, I mean, it's one of those things where you want to push the boundaries and limitations, but when and where can you do that so that they're received at a specific level of respect and acknowledgement, I think, is one of the things that way. And that can be extremely challenging if you're in that rebellious mode and you can't see it, and then remove yourself from that place in order to be open and vulnerable in space. We can sometimes create distance between and not nurture a relationship in a healthy way.
So interesting how you're like I never knew that you're a graffiti artist. I would love to see your artwork and everything like that.
Yeah, that's all I used to do for like a long time. Just sit and draw. Yeah, I put my headphones in and just draw. And it's crazy.
Wow, that's amazing. I've seen like bridges now that there's just like an octopus at the bottom of the bridge or something because they had the graffiti art, and that's just like so cool, right? So
yeah.
Like I guess when you were doing that, like how did you start? Like I guess it's sometimes hard to eat an elephant all at the same time, right? So
I think it started in Japanese class that I failed miserably. I tried to take Japanese in high school, but my friend was in it, and him and I used to just pretty much use that class to just draw. And so you do the best you could but Japanese is way over my head at the time. So I think I got into it that way, but also my skateboarding history came up in the roots of that culture. And breakdancing and graffiti art, skateboarding was massively influenced by hip hop, and hip hop was also massively influenced by that culture. So it was all in the history of
classes and everything you have been involved in. It's so fascinating. You had like a whole book about you, just like how David has.
Yeah,
I think it would be super, super engaging.
Yeah,
all three have like a book together. Maybe that could be the next picture book project.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I'll ghostwrite Jody's book, and
Yeah, exactly.
We'll talk about how many six figures that's going to cost you.
Exactly.
Yeah, but this year has been interesting. So like Jody, you and I talked about how everything was kind of in a holding pattern, and even as like I've had breakthroughs in my life, it's almost like I'm just discovering new plateaus of holding patterns. So I don't know what's going on. I know there's a bit of an upheaval. I think we're about to go through a bit of a political upheaval. I think things have changed quite a bit because of AI, but I want to say more specifically the fear of AI, which I am going to cover in a future presentation. But the fear of AI has kind of moved people to withdraw funding from a lot of things that they would otherwise be invested in right now, especially articles and writing and blog posts and arts. It's forced people to withdraw a bit because they're just uncertain, right? Lots of uncertainty.
That's kind of interesting how they would do that, because I thought that, like, like because of AI coming, they say, I want to be smarter than AI. I'm going to read everything and it just become like a super computer to take over AI. I don't know, outsmart AI in a way, right? So
That's at least partially my mindset. Yeah.
I'm started like who can take over my brain, sort of thing, right? So
They say ChatGPT is at about a high school level, and if it continues on this track, it'll be at a PhD level within a few years. I don't see that sort of linear exponential progression. That's not what I'm seeing personally, but that's kind of what they need to tell investors. Let's just put it that way.
They could actually create like a show, just like, what does that show? Are you smarter than a 10th grader? Or what is that? Is it 10th grader? I can't remember. But you can put, instead of that type of show, like, are you smarter than a 10th grader? Are you smarter than AI? And people would just compete against, like, different like aspects. And it's like, okay, if you win this, then you get this money or whatever, I would be imagining that could be a new thing.
I think that's pretty funny. I will say, though, the term intelligent and smart doesn't really go together with AI. I will definitely explain myself in detail on that one. It's not. It's not smart in the conventional sense.
Yeah, it's not smart. Feud. Yeah, and like maybe they could have Family Feud with AI, right? So what would AI say and Family Feud instead of a family? It's a bunch of robots. What would the robots say based on Yeah. Anyways, weird TV shows that could actually integrate with AI and just make it really interesting.
That'd be pretty funny. Yeah, I love the weird ideas, though. You just never know. Something could be there.
Yeah, like you mean the last thing I want to say is just that also with art, like people are like artists are getting really scared about, like, I mean, it's already happening. They've already captured all the art on the internet and created like AI art, and every like Journey, is it Midjourney? Midjourney can create everything that everybody can imagine, and they don't need artists anymore. And then everything, and then where goes your self-expression? Should I still continue to having my habits in the morning, or should I just sit back and just see how AI like creates stuff and then becomes this super robot? Then we can start adjusting to what could happen.
Yeah, ideogram's a lot like that too. And initially I thought it was pretty cheesy, but it's gotten a lot better. I think a couple of things. Like, one is that just because you've produced something with AI doesn't mean it doesn't require customization. Like, if you generate album artwork with AI, generally in Photoshop, you still end up having to go in, add your own text, right? Your album title and your band name in the fonts you've chosen, making sure the brand colors are on point. So you end up doing all the, like, you might not do the work of imagining and conceptualizing and trying to come up with a beautiful artwork, but you still have to have editing skills to go in there and make it what you want it to be in the end. So that's one of the factors.
Yeah, I think a big thing with artists and AI is AI can only generate certain things. Like, I think it is what it is, right? I think we don't want to get, well, I think it would be bold, I guess, in bold. It's a matter of how far away do we want to get from the disconnection of humanity by using, robots and computers and all this to take away the focus and connection of humanity. We can already see the impact of the internet and social devices on all levels and how they impact in a negative way. And they can also be used positively, but we're not robots. So the thing is, you can take in all that information, but if you can't process, you could also eliminate the human being and the connection, which is me or you. And then all we are is a bunch of cells walking around. It's a difficult line. I think that's where I think we're safe in a lot of ways, as long as we create guidelines and limitations to which it sounds like, could be happening in a very soon way, which is really cool. I hope that it stays that way and leaning towards people connecting more again in person and being in that state, because it's very, very valuable as the number one thing in human beings that they need is connection. So
yeah, I was actually thinking, like, it's a good thing that graffiti is actually not touched by AI. I mean, if that could be a thing that all artists could start getting a wall together and start creating the graffiti and create that.
But you can still do that with communities and stuff. You could, I could draw a digital piece and somebody could take that digital piece. Like when I was creating my artworks for actually this kind of stuff, I worked alongside a collaborator where I'd send him the image and what the inspiration was, and he would, add his part to it, which helped me out a lot because I couldn't take it to the digital processing that it needed to go through. But I prefer to work with humans than a computer because I enjoy the interactivity of seeing them be able to thrive in their creative nature as well. So,
and then the second limitation that I see is imagination. In other words, AI is pretty much only as good as what you can conceptualize and turn into words, because you have to create the prompt. So I had this experience of, I asked AI to create a woman that was going in meditation, in deep meditation, and going through a Kundalini unique spiritual experience, and all it was a woman meditating. And I'm like, that's not quite what I'm looking for here. It needs to be a little more profound, a little more significant. So I didn't get what I asked for in that regard. So it's going to be limited by your imagination and being able to turn it into words as well.
Yeah.
The last thing is, it's all inside the box. We forget sometimes, but you can't chat with a bot unless you're on the internet on your computer. It's in a box. And this whole depiction of robots with AI, there's reasons why that's ridiculous. I know that's what they want to do. They want to put AI technology in robots. I understand, but robotics and AI are separate technologies. So the depiction of robots as AI is false. It's incorrect, because now we're just talking about a smart appliance in your home. That's what an AI robot's going to be. It needs to be connected to the internet. You got to make sure it's connected to Wi-Fi, like your Alexa. So until we're talking something that can be autonomous outside of that, inside the box sort of ecosystem, we're not really talking AI.
Yeah. Well, like, for example, when I created this on my background or whatever, these are like blue jays, right? And I wanted it with strawberry, so I just got my markers and just put it all together, and then created this masterpiece or something like that, right? And I don't know if if AI could create that, but maybe they could. Something.
Well, not in your point of view, I don't think.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we're so unique in that as human beings. That's I guess what I'm getting at too, with even songwriting and things like that. You could tell them to write a song like something, but does it necessarily end up being great? It's a whole other thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can write a song that's Dolly Parton and dubstep, and
nice.
So it's funny. It has novelty value, right? But then it's kind of like, so what?
How about Jody Lubin's music and Dolly Parton's type of thing?
Well, Jody's got elements of Foo Fighters and Cyndi Lauper and The Cure and stuff like that. So if you kind of put those elements into your prompt, you'd probably get something.
And then you put it like Dolly Parton type of music.
Yeah, like country music.
Yeah. I thought it was more like classical, like the old, like I Dream of Jeannie type of music. I thought that was type of Dolly Parton, but I guess not.
You could call it roots, I guess, in the same way Johnny Cash's roots. But I think stylistically, we still call that country and western. Fun discussion, though.
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoy this, Dave, because I'm like, there's no place where I can actually really be fully self-expressed, and in your podcast right here, it just allows me to have that discussion compared to other places where I can't. So there's so much, like, people want certain things at certain topics, and if it doesn't align, it's like, nope, don't talk about that. You're silenced for now. That's my occurring of some things in life.
Well, it means a lot that you say that, and my hope is that intention spreads to other artists as well, that they get value from it, right? I made a closing video or call to action video for my YouTube today, and I basically said, sometimes I hit home runs, but sometimes I totally strike out with my content. The important part is I'm still listening. I'm still interested in what you're interested in. So either weigh in, leave a comment and tell me, or just stick with me, please, and subscribe, right? So that's my intention, and that's what I communicated in that video I just created for my closing segment, as it were.
Is it going to be shown here?
No, it's not ready.
Darn. Okay.
But maybe next time, because with StreamYard, we do have the ability to show a lot of stuff, as you probably noticed. Stuff like this. Go to my website. Or go to Jody's website.
Oops, not that one. Right. No. Oh, right here. There. That's much better. You touch this one.
But those kinds of features I definitely like about StreamYard. So
No, that's great.
yeah, we can change our layout.
Yeah. Can you put Jody's website again?
Yeah, of course. Jody Lubin.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. And that's an important part of this Spark Infinity gathering too, is that everyone has a chance to be seen. That's part of it. So, well, we hope you're growing lots. I think that's our discussion for this week, but let us know how things are going on social media. Fundamentally, that's what we're all about, but we're also about connecting as real human beings too, not just being robots and pumping out the content. So we look forward to hearing your thoughts, and we will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. As a creator myself, I know how hard it can be to make your goals and dreams a reality. I'm here to help you share your work, build a fan base, and turn your passion into profit. Now, sometimes I don't hit it out of the park with my content, and I know that, but trust me, I am listening. So if you stick with me, sometimes I totally strike out, but if you stick with me, I promise I'm going to deliver the kind of stuff that's going to help you get to where you want to go, because I'm always listening. If I can ask you to do something real quick, it only takes a second. If you could subscribe to this channel, it makes all the difference in the world. I'm going to be delivering more great stuff for you. And like I said, some of it might miss the mark a bit, but as much as possible, I'm trying to bring you what you need to make your career a success. So subscribe now. Thank you so much for watching.